is a presentation of Fox Sports.
We are Blackmore. We are St. Louis.
This is St. Louis Cardinals baseball. Cardinals baseball is presented by Academy Sports and Outdoors. It's a warm evening here in downtown St. Louis. It's the first of four, the San Diego Padres and the St. Louis Cardinals on Fox Sports Midwest. Jim Hayes is here. My name is Dan McLaughlin. That's the Mad Hungarian Al Raboski. Delighted to have you with us as we get you set for baseball tonight. We've said it many times this year. Cardinals trying to get things right here at home. They just dropped 2 of 3 against Miami over the weekend, and this evening they'll turn to the right-hander, Mike Leake.
And it won't be any easier because the Padres are swinging hot bats. They just swept the Giants in a 3-game series, scoring 18 runs in those 3 games. But if Mike Leake can pitch like he did his last time out, we're accustomed to seeing very few walks, or if not, no walks. But the 10 strikeouts was a nice surprise. He had a great slider working that day in Milwaukee.
Well, we know he got up to a slow start, in particular here at home, but that has changed as of late. His first start since the All-Star break. Leake and the Cardinals coming up from the Gateway City on Fox Sports Midwest. Four-game series. It's the San Diego Padres and the St. Louis Cardinals from Busch Stadium in St. Louis. We're moments away from our first pitch. It's our Budweiser What's on Tap. The lefty Christian Friedrich. He's worked in the bullpen when the Cardinals have seen him. They saw him earlier this year. He's in the rotation now for San Diego. For the Cardinals, Mike Leake, we talked about how well he pitched in his last start during the open against Milwaukee. The lefty Friedrich, the right-hander Mike Leake. We're set to go with our first pitch. Another big crowd. Over 40,000 will be here tonight. The Padres, the Cardinals, coming up on Fox Sports Midwest. Baseball is brought to you by Bud Light Live, by Chevrolet. Visit your local Mid-America Chevy dealer for great prices on the all-new 2016 Malibu. And by Menards. Save big money at Menards on all your home improvement needs. Very warm, muggy night here in St. Louis. Glad that you're with us as the Cardinals kick off a four-game series against the Padres tonight. Along with Jim Hayes and the Mad Hungarian, I'm Dan McLaughlin. 92 degrees. We understand it's going to be even hotter by the end of the week, but very, very hot here tonight. As Mike Leake makes the start for the Cardinals tonight, as we talked about in the open, he was sensational last time out on the road, the final game of the first half against the Milwaukee Brewers at Miller Park. A resurgence for Melvin Upton, batting .262 in the top spot of their lineup. He'll lead it off, followed by Will Myers, and then Matt Kemp. Solarte, Dickerson, Norris, Schimpf, their second baseman, Alexi Ramirez, and Christian Friedrich. The pitcher is batting ninth. Mike Leake, 19th start. He's 16-7. ERA is over 4. We talk about it all the time when Mike is on the mound. He's a ground ball pitcher, pitches to contact, not a lot of strikeouts despite what he did last time out. So the defense is always looked at maybe with more scrutiny with him on the mound than maybe some of the others.
And Dan, I think when you look at what his body of work, his first 18 starts, you know, he's 14 times he's gone 6 innings or more. Only Adam Wainwright equals that task. So he's giving you the innings. And he's always been traditionally a good second half pitcher. So let's hope that's in the cards today.
The interesting couple of weeks coming up across Major League Baseball with the trade deadline, and a lot of people talking about Melvin Upton Jr. Hard to believe that we would say that, considering where he was just a year ago after 2 dismal, and I mean dismal, seasons with the Atlanta Braves. But now he's healthy. Over the past 2 years, struggled. And Upton last year through July 17th. So this time, 203, couple of home runs, only 5 driven in. And this year, just a different looking player.
Remember with the Kimbrel trade.
Lifts a fly ball into shallow right, coming on and making the catch on the run, Stephen Piscotty.
And in the Kimbrel trade to San Diego, the Padres had to take Upton Jr. And now this year, like you say, he said that he let that contract get to him mentally, and it just wore him down. But now playing good baseball, and you're happy to see that.
He's still owed $16.4 million next year, but the right contender might see fit to take on that contract to get some production final couple of months of this regular season and next year. A strike to Wil Myers.
Wil Myers healthy this year, so you see the 20 home runs, 61 RBIs, a real threat. Missed most of last year with the wrist injury.
Low strike. That will benefit clearly Mike Leake. Sinker baller Alfonso Marquez calling the balls in strikes. Larry Vanover, the crew chief. He's at first, Chris Guccione at second, and David Rackley down at third. The 0-2.
Dan, it's easier to hit, home runs when the ball is up. There you see the umpiring alignment. But these Padres have really been swinging the lumber. They've hit home runs in 15 straight ball games. That's a new franchise record.
Two balls and 2 strikes. Myers with 20 of those home runs this season for the Padres. Cardinals, of course, have hit home runs at bunches this year. Got him with a breaking ball. That was the pitch in Milwaukee that was very effective for Mike Leake.
Yeah, he utilizes slider so much more than he normally does. We always talk about the sinking fastball, but you see the slider right there, and it seemed like he was able to keep it out of the middle of the plate, and it had depth to it. It was dropping and out of the strike zone instead of just flat and going across the middle of the plate.
Hyundai pitch arsenal. Leake, fastball, cutter, the change. Incorporated that slider and curveball more in his last start. Pitch taken high by Matt Kemp, longtime Dodger. 255, 18 home runs. He's driven in 61 this year. And he hits a fly ball out to center. There's Tommy Pham. Barely has to move. It puts it away. 1-2-3 inning for Mike Leake. No score. Finishing up his warm-up tosses. 4-5 on the year. Struck out 7. Gave up 3 earned over 5 in his last start. 3-1 loss to the Dodgers. Tommy Pham back in the leadoff position with Carpenter injured. followed by Aledmys Diaz, then Stephen Piscotty, Matt Holliday, Yadier Molina, Randal Grichuk, Jed Jerko, Greg Garcia, and the pitcher Mike Leake.
And the Padres pitch in one of the biggest ballparks in all of baseball, a pitcher's dream, and yet Frederick pitches so much better on the road. Struggles there, and he's struggled of late. 1-4 in his last 5 starts with a 7.62 ERA. But like I said, on the road, he pitches much better.
Tommy Pham hitting .281 and the first pitch taken high. Very vocal about the strike zone yesterday, a game in which the Cardinals struck out 15 times, 9 against Adam Conley, the starter of Miami. Lifts a fly ball out to left. Dickerson is over to make the catch, and there's one away. Hyundai pitch arsenal for the left-hander: fastball, curve, slider, and change.
Not a particularly hard thrower. He has to execute his pitches, can't pitch in the middle of the plate. And he is one of 11 starters the Padres have used this year. Cardinals, the only team in baseball with their original 5 starters.
Usually that means you're having great success.
Yeah.
Here's Aledmys Diaz hitting .313. He had that incredible series against the Padres. Cardinals took 2 of 3 on the West Coast. And Aledmys, that was when we were just starting to get to know him a little bit, and he was in that shortstop position night in and night out.
Trying to keep that average up there day in and day out too.
0-2 pitch, taken down and in.
Aledmys is his last 21 games, he's reached base, and he's hit .346 during that time. 5 home runs, a triple, 7 doubles, and 16 walks.
Big gap in left center, and the 1-2 pitch. Hit up the middle. Shortstop Ramirez couldn't get there, and it's a base hit.
Will make it 22 straight games that Diaz has reached base.
Around the Horn is presented by Dobbs. Both these teams have committed a bunch of errors this year. The Padres second from the bottom, the Cardinals at the bottom of the National League. Dickerson in left, Upton at center, Kemp is in right. Solarte, Ramirez, Schimpf, Myers along the infield, and Derek Norris is behind the plate. It's Andy Green there, first-year manager of the San Diego Padres.
He was the third base coach a year ago for Arizona, and Tony La Russa called him a future superstar manager.
Ball 1-2, Piscotty. The Diamondbacks a year ago started to really incorporate shifts, and leading that charge was Andy Green. He set the defenses for Arizona. They shift here with the Padres, but maybe not as much as you might think. It's Derek Norris. That ball may have caught him a little funny as he takes his time out to the mound.
I think you're right there, Dan. He's just trying to buy a little time to recover.
Very interesting offseason for Friedrich. Angels made a waiver claim. Then there were concerns with his physical. He was returned to the Rockies and then eventually given his unconditional release. And he signed with the Padres back on March 3rd.
That breaking ball come out here and see the thumb.
Ouch.
Right thumb, your bare hand, and it sounds so simple. Keep it back there, protected it.
Easier said than done.
Yeah, it really is. Pretty orange or tangerine fingernail polish.
Past Ramirez into center. Diaz to second, on his way to third with aggressive base running. Runners at the corners with 1 out.
It's so nice to see that when a runner will go first to third, and we're seeing that consistently from Diaz. Matter of fact, twice in this homestand, he's gone from first base to home on a base hit. But here, He just takes off. He's got the play in front of him. He knows he can go over to third base. And the Cardinals have something going here.
Here's Holliday, second consecutive game that he's batting in the cleanup spot. He's hitting .244 with 16 home runs, and he's driven in 53 in an opposite field home run yesterday.
Had 3 of the 4 hits that the Cardinals amassed in yesterday's ball game.
Jammed him, popped up on the infield. The catch is made by Ramirez. So the Cardinals need a 2-out hit from Yadier Molina.
94 for 13 on the most recent series with a home run. Picked me up for Holliday right there, wouldn't it? Got in on him, jammed him, and Friedrich got the pop-up he wanted.
Yadier Molina the day off yesterday, and it seems like when Molina gets a day off, usually the next day, the night game, he's got a little extra jump.
Well, let's hope.
Runners at first and third with 2 outs. First pitch a strike. Molina hitting .258, couple of home runs, and he's driven in 28 this year.
We thought Rosario, who got his second start since being called up, 11-year minor leaguer, we thought once again he impressed us quite a bit with his defensive abilities.
Again, a big gap in left center defensively here for the Padres. Cardinals don't run a lot. Piscotty with 4 stolen bases. Diaz with 4. The leaders on this team. It's always important, runner at third, less than 2 outs, to bring that runner in, but especially when the Cardinals don't run and generate a lot of that running game on their own. And Piscotty, a little delayed steal. Once he saw that was down, he took off.
It was almost a situation where they were hoping that maybe he'd get in a rundown or something and they could steal a run, the third base runner come home. But with Norris kind of boxing the ball, so you see the delayed steal, he's looking in because he's ready to stop and then see if he can get in a rundown, and Diaz scored. But when Norris never threw the ball, you got to go ahead and get your stolen base in second. Now five steals in 10 attempts.
Molina chops it foul to Chris Maloney, third base coach. The Cardinals have been so good in this spot. Kia in the driver's seat, runners in scoring position. And the Cardinals at 294, then Texas, Boston, and the Orioles.
Yeah, it's tops in all the Major League Baseball, and so is their slugging percentage with runners in scoring position.
And the other 3 on that list look to be headed to postseason play. 2 on, 2 outs, and a 2-2. Just missed high and inside.
A real key for a left-handed pitcher is, can they get all the way across? Can they throw the ball to their glove side? If they can't get in on right-handed batters, they usually have a tough time.
3-2 pitch to Molina. Bases loaded for Randal Grichuk. First walk issued by Friedrich. Sacks jam now for Randal Grichuk.
And this is where the West Coast clubs really have a disadvantage in the middle of the summer, coming east and playing in the heat and humidity. As you know, they're playing in just ideal, perfect, cool temperatures at nighttime. And then they come here and it just seems like the humidity just saps them.
2 outs, bases loaded here in the bottom of the first. Long look by the lefty. First pitch to Grichuk. Remember the first at bat yesterday, Grichuk dealt with something in his eye, or was it blurred vision? Well, we found out, Jim Hayes talked to Randall after the game, it was blurred vision. And he wasn't sure if he was a little dizzy maybe too, because of that heat. Very hot yesterday. 0-1 pitch. Pulled and fouled. Broke his bat. 0-2.
Now, Bieber's, he's been able to get in. Remember, he jammed Holiday, and then he was trying to do it to Molina. Here he gets in on Grichuk. The only thing he could do is open up his hip and pull that ball foul. But over the course of the day, as you get a little tired, all of a sudden that ball will drift over the middle of the plate, and that's when you have to capitalize.
The 0-2 pitch. Pulled foul. Marie Woods from Irondale, Missouri. Longtime Cardinals fan, never misses a game. Very much under the weather, and we want to make sure that we're passing along our well wishes. See you back at the ballpark very soon. Here's the 0-2. Well, clearly the idea has been trying to get in on Grichuk.
You're right. Well, they know that he's got great power, and he's got a very quick bat, so you've got to pitch in. Then you run the risk of leaving something over the middle of the plate. And you also, when you want to pitch ahead in the count to him, so you can throw him a lot of breaking balls.
The 1-2. Grichuk jam. Popped up. Shallow center. Schimpf, the second baseman, puts it away. The Cardinals strand the bases loaded. Good opportunity wasted here in the first. And after one, there's no score from Busch Stadium. Score. The fourth of 6 Academy Sports and Outdoor Autograph Nights is Friday, July 22nd. 2 current Cardinals will sign autographs for fans 15 and under. That's at the Ford Plaza from 5:45 to 6:15. 2 former Cardinals will sign for all ages, 6:15 to 7. That's cardinals.com/promotions. Very nice crowd on hand here at the ballpark. Here's Solarte, switch hitting third baseman, the former Yankee. Ground ball that's hit to Jed Jerko, the former Padre.
4 up and 4 down. Around the Horn is presented by Dobbs. Grichuk in left, Pham in center, Piscotty is in right. Garcia, Diaz, Jerko, Holiday along the infield. Molina is behind the plate. Good to see Jon Jay back in town. You see the right forearm has the cast on it. He was hit by a pitch. He said before the game tonight he hopes to be back in a couple of weeks swinging a bat. Maybe by mid-August. Start a rehab assignment back in September. And if he wasn't hurt, he's a free agent to be. He'd probably be a pretty popular trade candidate that would be out there.
Dan, he really is having a fine season.
Out to left, and that drops in front of Grichuk. Dickerson is aboard. He was part of the Memphis Mafia. Is that the name that they gave themselves? Alan Craig, who's hurt, but at AAA for Boston. David Freese, his numbers with Pittsburgh. Jay Descalso has done a really nice job for the Rockies. And then Tony Cruz at AAA for the Kansas City Royals.
Yeah, Jon Jay having a really nice season, and a lot of people were talking about he was going to be traded to a contender at the deadline. That won't happen now probably, but as you mentioned, a free agent next year. I talked to him and he's happy to be back in St. Louis. Happy to see some of his good friends in the Cardinal uniform.
Alan Craig, by the way, turns 32 today.
Oh man,
it's hard to believe that
it's painful
fall.
for us,
yeah.
you know, because he was so good and such a great young man and good ball player. Just 2 years was the best hitter with runners in scoring position. And then you don't just forget about how to hit. So it's got to be injury related.
Scoots away from Holiday. And if they charge that air to Leake, that'll be his 3rd this year. Cardinals this season more than ever, I can remember them throwing over to first and picking up an error. Happened the other night, cost them a run against Miami, and it happens here in the top of the 2nd.
And Dan, earlier before batting practice, I saw that coaches were throwing balls like that to Holiday over at first base, but obviously they were a little bit closer to first. You could make a strong case that Dickerson should have been out. And you've got Grichuk, who is an outstanding outfielder, but primarily is a center fielder. He's playing left field, and I thought he was very not aggressive at all on that ball. And I think if you talk to him, I think he would wish he would have been a little more aggressive, but I think he could have caught that line drive to left.
So it's not just the errors, but the non-plays.
Exactly.
Cardinals had 5 of those in game 1 against Miami. And Friday night, that was one of the most frustrating games of the season.
No doubt about it. And some of us had to do the post-game show, and so we got to relive it.
Good for you.
I'm happy to be here.
Little cutter, slider, and the strikeout number 2 for Mike Leake tonight. Missouri Lottery Fox Tracks.
See the spin of that, well off the plate, and swinging. If you get him to swing at a pitch that's far off the plate, you're in good shape. Also think about how Leake, who throws so many strikes, he keeps his defense off the field. That could, you get down the 7th, 8th, 9th inning, that could make a big difference.
Here's Ryan Schimpf hitting .227.
It's got some pop. You see the 5 home runs and only 66 at bats, but they've been surprised with the extra base hits that he's hitting.
Good tailing action on that pitch. 0-2 the count. So the first pitch was on the inside corner. This one starts there and then darts the other way.
It's just great movement, and it ends up in a spot you can never be hurt. Schimpf is hitting .357 over his last 8 games with 2 doubles, a triple, and 4 home runs.
Went with that same pitch, got the end of the bat on it. So first of 4 here tonight with the Padres, then the Dodgers in town beginning on Friday night.
Ryan isn't very big, but when you look at what he's done, His first 15 hits to start his major league career, 11 of them are extra base hits.
Oh, 2 in the dirt, blocked by Molina.
That's a tough pitch for the catcher. You know, the breaking ball thrown right at the feet of a left-handed batter. Sometimes the ball hits the dirt and it'll spin the opposite way. So a very nice block there by Yadi, but we expect that.
See him give the signs there. Some of that is about defensive alignment. Then the signs to the pitcher. Struck him out. Back-to-back strikeouts. 3 tonight for Mike Leake. You got Derek Norris. And this pitch to Ryan Schimpf. Jim Hayes with the news of the day when we come back. Obviously not in the lineup again tonight. The question is, how long will he be on the DL? More on that. Let's check in with Jim Hayes.
Good question, Dan. Matt Carpenter on the DL with that oblique issue. The Cardinals tell me he's still very much in the healing stage. But there was Carp earlier today having a catch with Brandon Moss, who just got cleared to ditch his walking boot. The Cards tell me Carpenter is yet to be cleared for full baseball activities. They say if Carpenter continues to make progress over the next week to 10 days, he'll be cleared to start ramping up his baseball-related activities. They say they will be very careful with Carpenter. And Dan, just seeing him out there throwing probably puts a smile on the faces of a lot of Cardinal fans.
Yeah, definitely a good sign. Now, Johnny Peralta is not in the lineup tonight. He's dealt with a thumb injury since spring training. Did he tweak it yesterday against Miami?
Yeah, he did. And Mike Matheny said it was on a check swing in yesterday's game. Mike says it's, quote, something that kind of keeps showing up for Johnny. He says doctors looked at that left thumb today. They're still trying to figure out the best course of action. Mike insisting it's not related to Johnny's thumb surgery, but nonetheless, it continues to be an issue for Johnny, especially on check swings or swings and misses. He said, Matheny said of Johnny, they'll give him the day off today. They'll see how it's doing tomorrow and then work from there, Danny.
Jimmy, you're in the clubhouse day in and day out. A lot of talk about, you know, the frustration of this season. 2 of the tougher losses the Cardinals had as Garcia looks at a strike. What is the mood of this team as you're down there before and after these games?
Yeah, I'd say frustration is fair. This is a very confident ball club, Dan, as you well know. And I think they're just upset that they haven't played up to the level that they feel they're capable yet, but they're still confident. They know that there's a lot of baseball yet to be played. But I don't see anyone hanging their heads. They just know they have to put it together. They have to play better. And as you've seen, Dan, when the starting rotation's going well, the bullpen has issues, or there's been some defensive breakdowns, they feel like they can put it all together, and they feel like they will put it all together.
All right, time will tell. 71 games to go, as Hungo pointed out in his keys to the game. 0-2 the count here on San Diego native Greg Garcia.
Cardinals had 4 hits yesterday, and Garcia had the one of them. As you say, forget the past, and it's a 71 game season or a sprint to the finish line. Like Jimmy said, everything that's wrong with this ball club is correctable. You know, there's a lot of internal parts that they can reach down deep, dig out, and improve themselves. John Mozeliak is going to always try to improve, and it's not just the trade deadline. It's always looking to improve the ball club. I mean, you know, every single day, and you can almost say that 365 days a year.
Cardinals currently 2 games out of the second wild card spot. The Padres come in 15.5 games back in the West. They are 41-51. Stating the obvious, one thing that, regardless of what they do and how they play defensively, how they pitch, the bottom line is wins and losses, and they've got to play better and win at home.
They've got to play heads-up baseball. You know, they got to take advantage of every situation and go out there and have that swagger, have that attitude that when they walk on the field, they're the ones that are going to walk off victorious. We've seen it in the past. You have to get that attitude.
So as Jimmy mentioned, Peralta, that thumb issue sprung up again, so Garcia gets the start at third base.
Garcia's done such a nice job. You know, he just has a special knack of getting on base, whether it's a base hit or walk, be hit by a pitch.
Double play ball. Ramirez steps on the bag to first. The pick by Myers, and Garcia, who runs well, is safe at first.
But I think there's a situation there, Dan, that I think that has to be turned. If you're going to be a championship caliber club, that has to be turned as a double play. But give Garcia credit. You know, he hustles his way out there, and hopefully they won't do a review. And unfortunately, it looks like they're going to.
Do you find it interesting that Andy Green and Mike Matheny got a memo from Joe Torre today and over the weekend about arguments in the game of baseball?
I do, because you know, it seems like today, Dan, because of replay, when an umpire's on the bases, it's like a vacation, because anytime there's a controversial play, it goes to the challenge process, and somebody in New York makes that decision. So the only time you really are going to take heat is when you're the home plate umpire. And that's what they were talking about.
Balls and strikes.
Yeah, and arguing balls and strikes, which you know you can't do, but it just seems like the umpires maybe have a little quick temper, because that's the only day that they're going to really hear any kind of real problems is when they're behind the plate.
Looking at the replay, they just showed it up on the video board here as well. For my money, he's out.
We've made our decision. Unfortunately, It goes against us.
You can see Mike Matheny talk to Chris Maloney, third base coach. If he's safe, think about the bunt. And if he's out, all bets are off. And here's the call. Double play. Ramirez, you can see, did he want to flip to Schimpf on that ground ball or take it himself? He took it himself and turns a double play. Longtime shortstop with the White Sox.
Signed as a free agent, and he's always recognized as an outstanding defensive player. But at 34 years of age, the question now is he gotten older the last couple months.
Here is Mike Leake.
161 average isn't, that's not bad, but it doesn't indicate how good of a hitter he really is.
Here's a 1-0 pitch. 1 ball, 1 strike.
He has the second highest average amongst active players, and he has 6 home runs in his career.
Oh. 1-2 the count. Crowd still filing in here to Busch Stadium.
Looks like it's going to be a really nice crowd for Monday night.
That's what we hear. Cardinals are trending to $3.5 million this year.
What a testament to the Cardinal fans. And of course, the promotional packages are phenomenal. They were great over the weekend, celebrating the 2006 World Champions.
Wasn't that fun?
The best, it was fun, but the best promotion is winning baseball. Did a nice job with all the interviews and weaving it in and out of, and you could tell the players really got a kick out of it. And then it was all capped off by the brilliant performance by Wainwright on Saturday night.
It was great. 2-2. Just missed. I was told that Scott Rowland was a little reluctant about doing an interview. And it's not because of me or Jimmy or anybody who's in here. He just didn't like to talk all that much with the media. And when he got done afterwards, he said, that was great. He said, I'm really glad I did that. Hopefully fans enjoyed it.
Well, you and I know him pretty well and his personality.
There's a base hit by Mike Leake.
4 hits by the Cardinals and a walk for their first 9 batters. Nothing to show for it. I see kind of a hanger. Watch how high this breaking ball will start out, and then when they end up around the thigh, you know, they're going to be hit pretty well, even a pitcher. But he's a good hitting pitcher. You start it at thigh level and break down below the knees, then you've got something working for you. You elaborated or touched on it, Pham, with his comments about home plate umpire yesterday. I hope one of the veterans said, you better watch out, calm it down.
And expand on that. Why?
Well, because, you know, okay, that umpiring crew is gone, but today's umpiring crew pick up the paper and they read those comments, and guess who they call? Marvin Hudson, home plate umpire, and said, you know what Tommy Pham said about you?
Here's a 1-0 pitch.
And it really doesn't matter if he's 100% right or not.
Word spreads quickly.
Yep.
2 balls and no strikes. Pham in the leadoff spot. Flied out to left his first time up. Runner at first is Mike Leake. When we talk about Friedrich getting in on these righties, and yet you watch how Melvin Upton Jr. plays defensively, and now he's moving more towards center, but primarily with every right-handed hitter, he has been in right center and not in left. He shifts on the 3-0.
Back inside. That's sometimes where you kind of see like you know, you pitch them one way and you defend them another way.
I don't think we talk about the outfield shifts nearly as much as what we see on the infield, which stands out so much. Ramirez pointing to it, and Upton makes the catch. So we played 2 here at Busch Stadium in St. Louis, and the Padres and Cardinals are scoreless. party and the workplace wellness event of the year. The Biz Dash is Thursday, September 15th at Ballpark Village. Live music, company tailgates, and more. Fox Sports Midwest presents the Friendly Industry Team competition. So create your company team. Join the fun by visiting stlbiz-.com. Love that shot there. There at Busch Stadium, the arch in the background, downtown St. Louis. Greensfelder building across the street. Greensfelder regarded as one of the top law firms in the country, and we have it right here in our own backyard. There's Greensfelder and KMOV, Deloitte building. The old courthouse, Cardinals Nation across the street. Sometimes I think we take for granted how great this setting is. We talk to opposing broadcasters, for instance, Dick Enberg, Mark Grant here tonight with the Padres, and they just marvel at the crowds and the energy and the buzz around the ballpark in downtown St. Louis.
And we try to encourage all the visiting players to go over, check out Ballpark Village, and particularly the Hall of Fame. I showed a little bit. One fraction of a.
It's the final season for a legendary voice behind the mic in baseball, Dick Enberg. There you see him. Anytime I see Dick Enberg, I think about Merlin Olsen. One of the great football games that they called over the years, and those moments with Denver and Cleveland. And with Mark Grant, I don't think that. I think craziness.
When you talk about Merlin Olsen, you know what I remember? It was a playoff game, might have been the only one the football Cardinals had here in St. Louis. And Merlin Olsen, the Hall of Famer, walked off the field in about the third quarter and said, "That's it. No more. I can't deal anymore with Conrad Dobell."
He wasn't the only one. Well, Mike Leake has struck out now 5 total and 4 in a row.
You knew that story, didn't you?
Oh, yeah.
About Jim Hanifin, who gave me an assignment. He said, "I want you to turn this guy, he doesn't have a lot of talent, but he's got the biggest heart in the world. Turn him into a madman." And I took Connie and made him Conrad.
7-pitch inning for Mike Leake. All strikes were midway through 3 from Busch Stadium, and there is no score. Ball is brought to you by Academy Sports and Outdoors. Right stuff, low price every day. And by your local Volkswagen dealer. Mike Leake, 32 pitches, 25 have been strikes, 8 of 10 first pitch strikes.
And Dan, just think of the time that he's kept his defense on the field versus the Padres. They're not used to this heat, and that could take a toll later on in this game.
It's a good point. You get used to it if you're in it, but coming from the West Coast, not the case. Strike to Diaz.
We saw what it did to Waka yesterday.
Ran out of gas.
Hit a wall, and we wouldn't have thought that.
It's a scorecard, it looks like, behind home plate. Uh-oh. Here's a 1-1 pitch. Diaz with a fly ball out to left, and Dickerson makes the catch. A lot of the players were at a Make-A-Wish Foundation event last night. Aledmys Diaz was at an event, Rainbows for Kids. And these are kids that are dealing with childhood cancer, other serious ailments. 35 kids were there. He played catch with all of them. Fredbird was there as well. And they all played for about, I'd say 3 to 4 weeks to build up to play in that game. That's Rob Rains, who works in the local media and helps put that on. And you can find out more at rainbowsforkids.org. But they really try to get ready to play the game, and Rob brings one of the players, usually an all-star, after the all-star game to help out those children. So very nicely done by Aledmys Diaz.
I've been real impressed with Aledmys and what he does on the field, but just how appreciative he is to be in the United States and having this opportunity. He's not going to take it for granted.
No, sir. 2 balls and a strike to Piscotty, who singled to center back in the first inning. Well, the bat boy got part of the program. Now he's going to go back and get the other part. There he is, racing behind home plate. The 2-2 pitch. And a strikeout, and no argument there from Piscotty. First strikeout. Reminder coming up Friday at another bobblehead to your collection. 30,000 fans ages 16 and over take home the Matt Holliday bobblehead courtesy of AAA. For tickets and more information, visit cardinals.com/promotions.
How about the mystery World Series ring and the mystery jersey of the 2016? I thought that was pretty unique and different.
Ownership has pumped in about $2 million for the higher end promotional items, and part of that is also adding, instead of 25,000, it's 30,000 because of the crowds. 1-0 pitch to Holliday, taken for a ball. Two balls and 1 strike, 2 outs and nobody on. The great Tom Mee is our director. Bill Cochran, our producer tonight. Brian McCann, Keith Olbermann, and his assistant Keith O'Brien. Gets in just enough. Long way to go for Kemp, and he makes the catch near the right field line. We played 3. It's game 1, Padres and Cardinals, and there's no score. Padres and Cardinals, no score. And a look at the BJC Healthcare difference maker, Mike Leake. Against the West, 3-0. Against the rest, 5-10. As Myers looks at a strike.
Hopefully his dominance against the West will continue, and I think the numbers against the rest will improve here in the second half.
I still contend that in that first month of the season where we looked at the high ERA and the lack of wins, a lot of that was due to the defense behind him.
Well, no doubt. Traditionally, his worst month has always been April. But you're right. He was victimized more than any other starter or pitcher by the poor defense early in the season.
Remember, he came through St. Louis this time last year. He got hot, shut down the Cardinals, and then was traded to the San Francisco Giants, became a free agent, signed the 5-year deal.
You know, he was kind of hopeful to wanted to maybe sign with Arizona because that's where he's from and because of the health of his father. But they signed a guy named Greinke. Wonder if what their thoughts on that now.
Greinke has been on the DL. There's a strikeout, and they just sent down Shelby Miller.
I know. I asked John Jay if he had heard from Shelby, and he told me he did. But tonight so far, it's been Mike Leake. He's been outstanding and really keeping the ball out of the middle of the ballpark. Watch how he has great movement, but it's in and it's out. You start doing that and leave the ball out of the middle of the ballpark, you're going to win.
There's Matt Kemp.
If your defense plays good behind you.
Well, right now, 6 strikeouts for Leake. He's allowed just 1 base hit. That was Dickerson to left field back in the second inning.
Struck out 5 of the last 6 batters.
There are many around baseball that feel Shelby Miller has put maybe undue pressure on his shoulders because of what the Diamondbacks gave up to get him, to bring him to Arizona. And he just has not been the same pitcher.
And you know, it sounded like he was almost relieved to go to the minor leagues. So that's good if you are relieved to go down there, straighten yourself out, and then come back and be the prospect we know he is.
Out to deep center. Pham is back near the wall, leaps, and it's over the wall. A home run. Matt Kemp with home run number 19. And the Padres are hitting home runs in bunches here the last couple of weeks.
19th home run for Matt Kemp. That is 16 straight games the Padres have hit home runs in. That's a franchise record. They broke it yesterday and they break it again today. And there he missed. Didn't get it far enough away. And Kemp has that great power. You see Pham tries to get up and get over, but just misses it.
Brings in Solarte. Grounded out to second base, his first time up. But you look up at the end of the year and the numbers will be there for Matt Kemp. He has been a productive player in his career.
He kind of resurrected himself after serious injuries. They say he really can't run very well anymore. But if you hit the ball out of the ballpark, you can trot your way around.
One ball, one strike. Ripped fair inside the first base line and down into the right field corner. Solarte will stop at second base. Dug out by Piscotty. And a 1-out double. So back-to-back hits following Leake striking out 5 of 6.
See this ball kind of spinning and stays up in the middle of the plate a little bit. Solarte, a switch hitter, turns on that one.
Here's Dickerson. Single to left. Now time is called.
Really pleased the way he's playing. And he hasn't been here that long, just 48 at bats on the season.
In front, and it does not allow Solarte to advance from second to third. We saw so many of the former players from '06 over the weekend. Ray Langford will be in town this upcoming weekend.
Good for Ray.
He's signing over at the Cardinals Hall of Fame and Museum on Saturday. Fought off, going out. Jerko spun around and makes the catch.
But the last two series, we had a pretty good hitting coach in town, and today we have a pretty good bench coach in town for the visiting team. There's Jerko going back on this ball, and a ball like that, sometimes you get tricked and you overrun it. And then it kind of sinks on you, but made the play. There's that pretty good bench coach.
You think he'll get a shot managing before it's all said and done?
I think there's a strong possibility now. You know, hitting coach, now he's moved to the bench coach.
When he decided to come out of exile, basically, after he had retired and then had the congressional hearings, which were not pretty. Not many people could get to him, even some of his closest friends. Very quiet, wanted to just raise his kids, his family. But to his credit, when he made the decision to join Tony La Russa's club and join the Cardinals, he addressed all issues every single day in spring training, to the point that he would go to the media in spring training and say, does anybody have anything that they want to ask me? Because writers go in and out of Jupiter, the national writers, visiting the various spring training sites, and he would seek them out and be quite honest and open about what had transpired. And with that, questions were answered and time moves on.
And you know, you think about it too, is he was honest. You know, he was the only one that maybe didn't perjure themselves in those congressional hearings. It was an unpopular stance at the time, but as you said, he's come clean, and he's always loved teaching.
Here's a 1-2 pitch to Norris with 2 outs and a runner at second, and a strikeout for Lee. 7 tonight, 2 in the inning. Home run by Matt Kemp, his 19th. Big Mac likes that. 1-0 San Diego. On Fox Sports Midwest, 1-0 Padres. Home half of the fourth. Along with Al Hrabosky, I'm Dan McLaughlin. Jim Hayes is here as well. Yankees playing tonight. A-Rod hits a home run. He's now 4 shy of 700 for his career. Carlos Beltran, by the way, with double number 523, which ties him with Willie Mays for 45th all-time in doubles. And ironically enough, this date in history was hit number 3,000 for Willie Mays back in 1970. So he did that just a few months after the great Hank Aaron. I I have at least 25 pairs of those socks at home.
Yeah, that was my gift to you on Father's Day.
My kids wear them every day. So if you didn't get those socks that day, you might want to blame me. I took 30 pairs. Here's Yadier Molina, who walked his first time up. Also, a happy birthday to Joe Torre, involved with Major League Baseball, and the Cardinals Hall of Fame class is coming up. Player, manager, four-time All-Star, the MVP, 1971. He goes to New York and solidifies his Hall of Fame career.
You know, playing with Joe Torre, we all knew that he was capable and could be an outstanding manager. But when he first went to New York, and he went from being a teammate to a player manager to the manager, and then when he got fired there, they said, oh, you were too close to the players. When he went to Atlanta, you know, and I played for him there, you know, he kind of was a little distance from the players, but because of broadcasting, I think he, you know, learned a lot how to deal with the modern player. And I'm not saying myself, but then when he came here, I think he had all the ingredients. He just didn't have the talent.
Popped up. Norris is over along with Myers. It'll be Norris. Myers was there as well. So Molina is the first out here in the bottom of the fourth. 6 is a serious number, and on the run when the Cardinals score 6, any size drink just 50 cents the next day. That's coffee, fountain, frozen drinks. When they score, you pour at your nearest on the run. You earned it. I had a function this offseason with Joe Torre, and I asked him about dealing with George Steinbrenner. I said, it always seemed like you were one step ahead from being fired. And he said, that's a good way to put it.
But you know what he did?
Well, he would call George down to the meetings when he felt that things were going very poorly. Losing streak would happen. Maybe the team wasn't playing up to expectations, and George was always calling meetings and saying, well, what's wrong with my ball club? Why aren't you doing this? Why aren't you doing that? And he said other managers would not include him within the team. And he said, I felt, why not bring him down, let him see what we're talking about, expose him to the issues. And it kept me and my staff one step ahead of George. And he said, I had no problem with George Steinbrenner.
Yeah, and I think also the fact that Joe, being from Brooklyn, had a great relationship with the media. And then he was a great buffer for his players away from George. So, you know, between that communication and everything, you bring them down there, and you know, it's like now we see how hard these guys work before the game. We see what they do in infield practice, batting practice, and the things that they work on. Well, if you're watching that, you can't really say they're not doing it. You know, or questioning their attitude and their will to get better. But at some point, you got to reach down deep, and every guy has to kind of look in the mirror and say, what can I do to turn it around?
Joe Torre, you talk about being smooth behind the microphone. One of the best. That function, it was a Q&A, and Bob Gibson was there as well, and I had the chance to moderate it. A lot of fun. Getting those two together was a lot of fun,
well,
too.
Yeah, and then I don't think people, you know, once you get Bob ready to talk, you know, I mean, he opens up, and you find out that, boy, this is one of the classiest guys you ever been around, and we all know what he did on the field, but he's the whole package.
He really is. 2-2 the count here on Randal Grichuk. Cardinals had the bases loaded back in the first. Grichuk up, and he popped out to the second baseman. Best opportunity in this game also in the first. One out, runners at the corners, and Holiday popped out on the infield. So they had a chance in that first inning, could not cash in. Here's a 2-2. Second strikeout for the left-hander.
Trying to go in on Grichuk. Really a hanging breaking ball, but it was just bad enough that it was effective.
It was also Joe Torre that Ted Simmons credited for helping him at the plate. Did some various things with his hands, what to look for with pitchers. Ted Simmons talked about that in his Hall of Fame speech a year ago. Looking forward to this year's induction class, which will include Chris Carpenter, not a part of the 06 reunion this weekend, had a prior commitment, but he will be here in late August. 1-0 pitch to Jerko.
I know everyone was disappointed that Chris wasn't here, but like you said, a prior commitment, you got to honor that, and we'll be there that day when they bring in the third class.
Third class. Here's a 1-1. It's been interesting to see the lineups night in and night out for Mike Matheny. An awful lot of different lineups along the way. And he's talking about before looking for any edge. Maybe it's a player facing his hometown team like Greg Garcia, or a former player, Jed Jerko, facing his former team. He homered against the Padres earlier this year, but the point being, trying to find any kind of edge he can, any kind of motivation, really, in the dog days of summer.
And you know, when you have a guy like Joe Torre, or in the case of Mike Matheny, who was an everyday regular, you know, he was just as tough as Molina is, that played every single day, prided himself in taking good care of himself, so he could do that. You know, they really want to put a set lineup out there, but because of injuries and kind of guys not being 100% healthy, he's had to mix and match, and you give guys opportunities. You know, everybody's got a chance to play.
Leak on deck, and here's Garcia. Grounded into a double play, first time up. MC to function yesterday post game after the Cardinals lose, and the first question posed to Mike Matheny was from a young lady, and she said, "Do you need a hug?" And he said, "Have you been watching?" He was very good, very upbeat, had a lot of fun with the crowd, and did a good job. It's our group leader dinner, and we salute those that bring 300 or more down to the ballpark and put on a nice event. And by the way, they did hug it out. I told the lady, you know, I had a bad day too. And she just looked at me. Two balls and one strike.
I go back to Greg Garcia's grandfather. You know, when I was in college, he would be scouting in the stands. Played for him in Mexico.
Line shot to second. Section 162. Nice seat here at the ballpark. 1-0. We head to inning number 5. to another moon. Mike Shannon, longtime voice of the St. Louis Cardinals, the Moon Man is nicknamed.
He had his birthday over the weekend. Mike's 77 now.
Many variations of that nickname of Moon Man and how he got it. There's a strike. Do you have one? I mean, none of them are wrong, I don't think.
Yeah.
So,
well, I think the one that I kind of heard was the fact that I guess it was the 64 World Series at Old Yankee Stadium, and he was playing right field. Barney Schultz threw a knuckleball to Mickey Mantle. Mickey Mantle hit the facade of the top of the stadium, and Mike was at the base of the right field wall trying to jump and time the leap. You know, it's about 300 feet above his head. That's one.
and a ground ball that's pulled foul.
You and I both. How much fun we've had over the years traveling with Mike.
Man.
And, you know, and the things we've done with him, and
some I'd like to forget.
Some we could talk about, some we want to forget. But we learned.
Oh, yes. Strikeout for Mike Leake. That's 8 tonight for Leake.
Struck out 10 his last start. Now he's got 8 strikeouts here, but we need to get him some run support. But he had the Moon Man moniker before that. He had that great call in Shea Stadium in New York when he was talking about the beautiful full moon over Shea Stadium and just wished everybody back home could see that.
Some Shannonisms along the radio broadcast for many years, and beloved here in town.
Yes. And the greatest athletes to ever come out of St. Louis. And you know, a lot of people felt that he was a pro. Look at his size. Was a pro set quarterback when you had guys like Tarkenton. You know, guys that were 5'9", and Bart Starr and everything else like that at 6'4", you know, and just a tremendous throwing arm. And a lot of people felt like if he would have stuck it out at Mizzou, he might have been a Heisman candidate.
Talked to Jay Randolph about that. He believes he would have been. It's Jim Jackson there on the left. There's a base hit out to left field. So 1 out hit for Alexi Ramirez. You two were teammates for a short time.
Very short time. It was my first year is the year that he got sick, and you know, obviously ended his career prematurely. And he was in the front office for a year, and then the great Jack Buck said, "I'll turn him into a broadcaster." And what are we, almost 50 years later now?
The top of the 5th, 1-0 San Diego. The pitcher, Friedrich, at the plate, struck out back in the 3rd. Friedrich, the name may ring a bell because he was a reliever with the Rockies, so we saw him working out of the pen. He's a highly thought of prospect with the Rockies. Former first-round pick, drafted by Colorado first round in 2008, 25th overall. That's a draft class that has produced some major leaguers for the Cardinals. Brett Wallace, Eric Fornatero, Mitch Harris, Xavier Scruggs, Lance Lynn, all coming from that 2008 draft class.
And Brett Wallace is with the Padres, but not physically, as he's on paternity leave.
There are a lot of former Cardinals, or at least Cardinal ties, with the Padres. Brett Wallace, Edwin Jackson, who pitched a gem yesterday, Mark McGuire, Carlos Villanueva working out of their bullpen, Luis Perdomo, who was part of the Futures game last year, Rule 5 pickup. He's going to start on Thursday, and then we already talked about John Jay. So it's another strikeout for Leake. That's number 9. The bold and refreshing frozen strawberry lemonade is back, and it's only available at McDonald's. Big Mac land, and there is Big Mac. For a while, we had Little Mac, Joe McEwing.
Yes, we did. So what was considered for the managerial job when Mike Matheny was offered it. He's what, at AAA with the White Sox?
Third base coach, I think, for the White Sox.
Oh, that's right. He was the manager, and then they put him up there.
Off the glove of Garcia. Ramirez held up at third. And runners at second and third following the double by Melvin Upton. He's 1 for 3.
Well off the plate, so he comes inside, and this time he can swing and get some pretty good wood on it. Goes off the glove of Garcia, and that allowed the double for Upton. 2 outs here. You just get out Will Myers. Will Myers has struck out twice here today, but he's got 20 home runs, 61 RBIs, so be careful. Healthy this year.
0 for 2. Pitch in the dirt. And that's the key word, health. We talk about Will Myers. He has been a highly thought of prospect with Kansas City, Tampa Bay, and now with San Diego. So 90 games he's played in this year, the most he has played in his big league career in terms of a single season. Runners at second and third. 1-0 Padres. Myers pops it foul and out of play.
Originally signed by Kansas City, as you said, back in 2009. 3rd round selection.
One ball, 1 strike. Outfield is deep. Big gap in left center. Good pitch by Leake.
Made some good pitches, hadn't he? You know, and when he gets the ball in the middle of the plate, you know, is when he gets hurt. But if he's throwing on the corners, in and out, he's had good success. Those 9 punch outs, and another good strike away from getting his team back on offense.
1 ball, 2 strikes. He got him. That's 10 strikeouts tonight for Mike Leake as the Padres strand 2. They've left 4 on in this game. 10 strikeouts, 3 of those of Will Myers. 1-0 San Diego. Major League Baseball presented by T-Mobile. Minnesota Twins relieved Terry Ryan of his GM duties. Yan Gomes placed on the 15-day DL. Chris Sale will start tonight later in Seattle. The big one there, though, is Terry Ryan had 2 very good runs as the head of the front office for the Minnesota Twins. Was actually a player in their minor league system at one point, and very, very much respected in the game of baseball.
I've been around a long time. I'm a young catcher. I think I'm going to sit right next to Yadier Molina and
soak it up.
Soak it up. He's right.
Leak with a base hit to left. 2 balls, no strikes. Leadoff man here in the bottom of the 5th. Big happy 93rd birthday to a young lady that never misses a telecast, Dorothy Mae Schneider. Dorothy Mae Schneider, happy birthday. That pitch taken low and a leadoff walk, and the tying run is on.
Leak has one of the base hits. Now he has the 3rd walk. Been on base twice. Trying to do his job. Tommy Pham can't plug something out in left center field. Big gap out there.
First pitch to him. Taken for a ball. He's flied to left and also flied out to center. 0 for 2. Right-handers last year hit 368 off of Friedrich. This year 264, so he's improved on that mark, but still in the back of your mind you think a little bit about last season and just how poorly he pitched. Leak was running. By doing so, they avoid the double play.
He's a good enough athlete, but give Mike Matheny some credit. His team is basically station to station, but put the movement on there and it paid off. Otherwise, that's a double play ball. So it takes off for the pitch. You look in to make sure. Had to skip the rope a little bit so he didn't let the ball hit him.
Diaz is 1 for 2. Base hit to center. Also flied out to left. Tying run in scoring position. And again, that gap in left center. Ball 1. Talk about exit velocity all the time with power hitters in the game. And some of the balls that Diaz has hit exit velocity have been some of the best the Cardinals have had of any hitter in their lineup.
You see the opponent's batting average at home 321, and then on the road drops down more than 100 points. Second largest differential in the National League this season, but he pitches much better here on the road, and he's been doing that,
which is surprising. Number one, you're at home, the comfort level of the ballpark and the mound, and certainly in that ballpark a pitcher's park.
Yeah, no doubt about it. And that's part of the reason why they traded All-Star Fernando Rodney to Miami. Not many clubs are going to trade their closer, but they feel that some of the young power arms going to be fine in that ballpark, and particularly late in a game when a closer would be used, because that's when the ball really dies in the outfield.
3-1.
If that marine layer comes in, and balls that are hit really hard just die in the outfield, and balls that may be home runs early in the game, don't even reach the warning track in the ninth.
The 3-1 pitch to Diaz, and he walked him. That's 4-2 in the inning.
Gotta make him pay. Aaron Balsley, the pitching coach for Andy Green, comes out to talk to his young lefty.
So once again, it's a runner in scoring position for Piscotty, who's been one of the best in baseball in terms of average at driving those runners in.
At this point, nobody warming up in the Padres pen. They have some of their late inning guys. There's 3 of their top relievers have thrown 3 straight days. So they're really asking their starter to go deep into this ball game, and maybe the 7th, 8th, and 9th might be a new adventure for Andy Green.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting. Hand has thrown 3 games in a row. Buchter, who is one of their lefties, so 2 lefties 3 days in a row. They're 2. And then Mauer, who is a right-hander. So some of those options late in this game could be limited, as Piscotty has hit .423 with runners in scoring position this year. Runners at first and second. First pitch popped up. Norris makes the catch. Nice play by Derek Norris.
Twice. Holiday in the first inning popped up to shortstop when you got a couple guys in scoring position. Here you missed an opportunity. Now can Holiday pick them up with 2 outs?
You know that Holiday would love to atone for that first inning at bat. 1 out, runners at first and third, and he popped out to the shortstop. Cardinals eventually drew the bases loaded with a walk to Molina and could not score. See that outfield defense, and we talked about it earlier. That's basically where they're playing all the Cardinal hitters.
Quackenbush started warming up in the bullpen for San Diego, but
it's got to be one of the great names in baseball or in sports.
Like Kevin?
Absolutely. Quackenbush is just so routine.
Yeah.
But Kevin, now that stands out.
And to go along with the beard.
Into left. Will it sink? It does. Here comes a runner. That's Leake. Throw to the plate, not in time. It hits Leake, gets away. Here comes another runner. Diaz. He scores. They throw that baby away. And the Cardinals go on top 2-1 here in the 5th.
Enos Slaughter would be proud of Aledmys Diaz and the way he hustles around those bases. That's 3 times in this homestand that he's come around from first base on a base hit. It had a little bit of help here as watch the ball comes in. It hits Leake, goes over up against the screen. So Leake been very active this inning. He scores the tying run. It gets by, and then all of a sudden Diaz, who's watching alertly there, he saw them at second base. When he saw the throw go home, he goes to third. When he saw the errant throw, he comes along and scores.
Strike 1 to Yadier Molina. The hustle of Aledmys Diaz.
Watching it all the way here, you know, he sees the ball going home, so he knows he can go over to third base. He sees the wild throw there. And another bad throw here.
But the first time that the ball got away, a good throw probably gets Diaz at the plate.
Oh, I think so.
But again, we've talked about it. You force the issue, make them make the play.
I love it. 54th RBI for Holiday.
Here's a 1-1 pitch to Molina. And a high fly ball lifted into right as he slams his bat, throws it in disgust. The catch made by Kemp. Aledmys Diaz, the all-star, some of the little things that he can do. This time showing off his wheels and the speed of the shortstop. Chris Maloney pointing to the plate. That slide makes it a 2-1 St. Louis lead. 12,000 kids 15 and under entering with a ticket receive their own limited edition Cardinals Bear. Compliments of Build-A-Bear Workshop. Make sure and visit the Build-A-Bear Workshop new store located in the Ford Plaza. More info at cardinals.com/promotions. First baseman Matt Holliday gets 1 RBI with the 2 runs that score.
Right, and it's a big RBI, number 54 for him. He leads the ball club in RBIs, but starting to hit at home, and that's a big factor. If the Cardinals are going to play much better at home, they need the big man to raise the batting average, drive in runs, and he's always been a second half hitter.
Matt Kemp with a home run, a solo shot back in the 4th. It's 2-1 Cardinals. Mike Leake, second consecutive start with 10 strikeouts. And the final start before the All-Star break against Milwaukee, struck out 10 that afternoon, 10 more here tonight. The last Cardinal to have 10 strikeouts back-to-back games, you have to go back to Lance Lynn in 2012.
And Dan, we probably would have, if somebody was said which one of the Cardinal starters would have back-to-back 10 strikeouts, he'd be our last choice.
I would agree.
You know, we always talk about ground ball specialist, really relies on the defense, not going to strike out many. And I guess this is one way to win.
His career high is 12. Ground ball, Diaz. 1 away.
After a real active top of the or bottom of the inning, when he goes out there, you really got to kind of slow things down, take a deep breath, utilize those 8 warm-up tosses, but don't rush. And good strike to ball ratio. 5 1/3 to 71 pitches thrown.
Line for a base hit. Solarte. His second hit tonight to go along with a double.
I mentioned these Padres are starting to swing the bat much better. They scored 18 runs in their 3-game sweep of the Giants. And they beat Bumgarner, Samardzija, and Cueto.
What's surprising about back-to-back 10 strikeout games for Mike Leake, he had 2 of those in his first 189 career starts. Here's Dickerson, strike 1.
Remember Mike Leake, right out of Arizona State University. That first year he didn't pitch. He went to spring training with the ball club and made the Cincinnati Reds. Remember Dusty Baker saying, hey, this kid went out there, threw strikes, got sinking action, and we kept him.
So against Milwaukee, 7 innings, 10 strikeouts, no walks tonight, 5 1/3. Identical in hits, earned runs, strikeouts, and walks. Mike would love that ground ball double play here. Dickerson single to left, hit a soft liner to Jed Jerko at second. It's those pitches there, though, that he needs. In and out on the corners, nothing down the middle. Doesn't have that kind of overpowering stuff, and we've seen his breaking ball has been very effective here tonight.
Yeah, he really doesn't beat himself. He doesn't give up any walks. Usually stingy in that department. Didn't walk a man last time out, and he hasn't walked a man tonight. Let's see if he can't get that ground ball double play.
Right fielder Piscotty very deep. His time is called. Cardinals come into play tonight, second place in the Central, 8 games back of Chicago. St. Louis at 47 and 44. The 2-1. Academy Sports and Outdoors leaderboard. Double play groundouts. San Diego, St. Louis, 49 and 56. League average 68. Here's a 3-1. Grounded foul. And a happy fan.
I'd love to watch Carlos Martinez, in the dugout.
He's having fun.
Yeah, I mean, that's it. This game is fun when you win, but sometimes you get a little too stiff. You got to have a little loosen up there a little bit. Engage the fans and have fun with them. They'll pay attention.
3-2 pitch. Runner not going, and it's hit out of play.
And I've seen some very talented starting pitchers in the minor leagues, but I knew they really weren't going to make it to the big leagues because the only day they were interested was the day they pitched. The other days they didn't even want to be at the ballpark. That's not Carlos Martinez at all.
Hear about it a lot in the bullpen. Veterans talking with the young guys out there and how much they can learn, when to get ready, situational baseball, who to look for, who they might face. 3-2 pitch. This time the runner goes, and it's a foul ball.
That is so true. And I had a couple guys that believed in me before I believed in myself. And there were guys that are down in the bullpen, veteran guys, and they would say, you could do this, you could do that, and it made you feel Superman. And then when you did something positive, they kept on building on it, told you what you did right, what you did wrong, how to avoid those situations. Every day, and George Kissel used to say, every day you come to the ballpark, you should see something new. Now, some of the guys see it in the stands and not on the field.
Sometimes there's things to look at in the stands.
Right.
Three-two pitch, swung on and missed. Maybe interference on the batter at the plate.
He's out. I think that's what they call.
But he's trying to throw around or above the bat.
You've got to run into him.
Exactly.
And it looks like they're not going to get it, but watch the play here. Strike out. The bat comes all the way around, but now, and you see Yadi altered his throw, and because of where the bat was, run into the hitter.
He's clearly concerned that his fingers or hand would hit that bat,
Yeah.
and then you've got issues. It'll be the first error on Yadier Molina. Cardinals have committed 2 tonight, and that is strikeout number 11 tonight for Mike Leake. And it brings in Norris, who has struck out twice. Two balls and no strikes.
You get into a situation like this, and every pitcher is so thankful for having the opportunity to throw to Yadi and what he does for them. This is where you really say, I'm going to make sure this error doesn't come back and hurt Yadi.
2-1.
Anytime you come up with some little thing that to motivate you and push you a little deeper, and out of the respect everybody has for Yadi, and because of that error, you would hate to see that be part of the the game being tied. So as a pitcher, you really bow your neck and make sure it doesn't happen.
There's that pitch again, the slider, cutter, whatever you want to call it, but it has been good. Chevy Fox Tracks.
A lot more movement on it, so it's much more. I think it's more the slider than the cutter. Cutter just moves a couple inches.
His curveball is not the traditional way that a lot of pitchers throw it. It's the knuckle curve. Of concern, I think, if you're Leake or any pitcher with the cutter, if it stays on the same plane,
Right.
That's when you have issues. If it has that little downward late movement, that's when you get those ground balls.
Yeah, and I thought that he's allowed 14 home runs, and I thought early a lot of those were on cutters, and now we're seeing more depth to the slider, and he's had better command of it, keeping it away, and then it has movement. where, like you said, at times that cutter just spun and stayed up in the middle of the plate and didn't stay on an even plane, and then that pitch is going to be hit. It's almost like a BP fastball.
2 outs, runner at third, 3-2 the count. Popped up. Molina will give it a look, and it's out of play. This copyrighted telecast is presented by the authority of the Cardinals and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form, and the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the St. Louis Cardinals. Along with Al Hrabosky, Jim Hayes, I'm Dan McLaughlin. We're at Busch Stadium in St. Louis. 2 outs, runner at third, 3-2 again. Fly ball into center. There is Pham, and late pitches around the air. Midway through 6, Cardinals on top. Have the lead in the bottom of the 6th. Randal Grichuk 2 up first. Let's check in with Jim Hayes.
Dan, a lot of people were surprised to hear that the source of fatigue for 26-year-old Kevin Siegrist was mononucleosis. None more surprised than Siegrist himself. He told me, quote, "That blindsided me." Siegrist spent the late part of the first half pitching through extreme fatigue. They thought it was heat exhaustion, allergies, a sinus infection. Siegrist told me it also forced him to try making adjustments because he thought the root of the problem could be a flaw in his mechanics. Dogged follow-up by the trainers turned up mono, and Siegrist was sent home to rest and spent a week not leaving his house. Dan, Siegrist went about 15 days without pitching, so he told me he's still fine-tuning things, but obviously a big plus to have back in the bullpen.
A lot of questions too, Jimmy, with Jordan Walton. Now, we haven't heard his name since spring training. The talk was maybe by late July, August, you could get him back in the bullpen. Had a terrific spring. What do we know about Jordan Walton? Here's a ground ball that's hit by Randal Grichuk. And the out at first. Well, the Cardinals are hopeful, or hopefully we'll get Jim back with us, but they are hopeful that at some point he would pitch. Now, he's been rehabbing down in Texas, and they're going to see how he feels, if there's some way that they could possibly get him back to get something out of him. And when we saw him in spring training, unfortunately, you know, he said he just wasn't feeling right. Something wasn't right, but velocity was there. The slider was nasty, and it came down to the final day of spring training that eventually the Cardinals said we can't rely on him initially out of the pen, so go home, rehab, get better, and we'll see maybe in the midway point of the season.
Yeah, I remember that was a 2-year contract signed before last season, and he did get part of April last year. Had great numbers before the shoulders started barking.
Jerko with a base hit out to left field on a pitch that was up. He's on base for the third time. 2 singles and a walk.
That's what you were talking about, Mike Matheny, trying to say, well, let's find out if maybe a guy that was with Padres last year, they let him go, see if he's got a little revenge out there, and he jumps on another high pitch. So 2 singles and a walk, on base 3 times.
Garcia has grounded into a double play and also lined out. Cardinals may have a decision coming up. Do you go to your bullpen? Let's just say Garcia hits a double and you've got runners at second and third, 1 out. Leake is on deck. Because of that, they start to get Bowman loose in the pen. Mike Leake is at 88 pitches. You know, that was the other thing too about yesterday. Kevin Segrist had a long outing. He's coming off a mono in the heat of the summer. You know, how available is he tonight? We'll see.
Well, the problem is too, Dan, is you're going to say you're available, but are you really? You know, is it the smartest idea? Yesterday was better than the first time he pitched coming off the disabled list. That was Friday night, I believe. But if you had everything in the bullpen going the way we assumed it would go, it would be an easy decision.
Here's a 2-0 pitch. Carlos Villanueva, right-hander, getting loose in the Padres bullpen. 2 balls, 1 strike, the count, and a 2-1 game. Three and 1.
That's why I say Greg Garcia has a knack of trying to get on base. There you see the former Cardinal did a very nice job as the long man, and a guy that for extra innings was always available.
The 3-1 pitch, and it's in the dirt. That's 5 walks issued by this lefty, and that may be it for him. They'll pull back Mike Leake. We'll see a pinch hitter.
I guess put it this way, Dan, if McHenry will hit here, but this is what you probably should do, and if you can't trust your bullpen, you know, you're not going anyplace. So show a little confidence in the bullpen that they can get the rest of this game through with a 2-1 lead.
So McHenry will be the hitter. Padres know him quite well from his days with the Colorado Rockies, and Andy Green, once McHenry was announced, will go to his pen, calls for the right-hander. Villanueva had been throwing, and he'll come into the game. This is our Chevy call to the pen. Runners at first and second with 1 out on a hot night here in St. Louis. Cardinals up by a run. McHenry coming up to face Villanueva when we come back. Bud Light, Rays 1-2 right now. And by Ford, the official cars and trucks of the St. Louis Cardinals. Little gamesmanship here as Matt Adams is moved to the on-deck circle. He will pinch hit for McHenry. McHenry was announced, so he's done for the night. Not sure that Mike needed to do that because of the availability of the lefties potentially in their pen. Plus, no lefty was up and throwing. This was going to be Villanueva, but regardless, he made sure to get the matchup he wanted. And it's Matt Adams here as a pinch hitter. The Cardinals as a team sitting on 10 pinch hit home runs and one of the top pinch hitting home run teams in all of baseball.
You see that 400 average. He has 6 career pinch hit home runs. Can't say enough about what Mike Leake did here tonight, so hopefully you can pad the lead and the bullpen will close it out for him. But an outstanding job by Mike Leake.
Here's an 0-1 to Adams. You know, Mike Leake on the year, only 17 walks that he's issued this season. Against Villanueva, Adams 2 for 8 with a home run. 1 ball, 1 strike. 2 runners on and a 2-1 St. Louis lead. No change in the outfield with how they play these Cardinal hitters, righties or lefties. The 1-1. Villanueva had a tremendous season a year ago for the Cardinals. Didn't pitch a lot, but when he did, as a long man, was effective.
And Dan, he was one of those guys that could sit down there for a couple weeks and then always stay ready. Very valuable in my mind.
The 2-1. Adams pulls it foul past Billy Miller, the first base coach. A lot of fans ask us about Jose Oquendo, and is that why the team is committing errors? Trust us. Bill Miller is putting in the time. Chris Maloney putting in the time. David Bell putting in the time.
Yeah, there's no reason there, and you know, the Cardinals would love to say we have a reason, but that's what stumps everybody. Is everybody is working hard, from the coaching staff to all the individual players.
The 2-2. At some point goes on the player's shoulders. You got to make plays. Well, let's see what Adams can do here if he gets a pitch to handle. 3-2 with runners at first and second.
And this is a player's game. And heard Bob Gibson say that, you know, a manager and coaching staff gets too much credit when a team wins, and they get way too much blame when a team loses. You could make every right decision in the world, but it's up to the execution of the players.
3-2 pitch again to Adams. On its way. Adams with a fly ball, left center. That ball is down. 1 run is in. Garcia racing to third. He will score. And Matt Adams off the bench delivers as he drives in 2. 4-1 St. Louis.
As to his 400 average, Mike Leake is happy about a couple insurance runs. 8 RBIs on the season for Matt Adams as a pinch hitter. Yeah, you love to see him play every day, but when he's coming off the bench, you feel very, very comfortable the way he swings the bat and relaxed in clutch situations, pinch hitting situations, and he does it again with a big one here.
Well, we've been showing the defense again of center fielder Melvin Upton Jr. He shades everybody into right center, and that time it cost him. Some insurance for Mike Leake. He's all smiles for the moment.
You know,
Close the book on Friedrich. He goes 5 1/3. Those runs are charged to him. And Al, he walked 5 in this game. 3 of the 5 walks come around to score.
You're just flirting with danger. Showed it all the time as Upton in center field is shading towards right, and so this one plugs the gap out there in left center. Had no chance before he could track it down at the base of the wall.
Adams, your runner at second base. 0-2 the count on Tommy Pham. Pham tonight is fly to left, fly to center, and grounded out to second. Chops it foul. John Lester 7 2/3 tonight. Mets defeat, or rather the Cubs defeat the Mets. Anthony Rizzo with a 3-run homer tonight. So the Cardinals are asking for 9 outs from their bullpen here this evening. And again, the same outfield from Upton in right center.
Isn't it amazing how Bowman keeps on getting more and more important situations?
Check swing, and he did go. Tommy wanted an appeal, but all for naught. Once that home plate umpire makes the call, it's final. There's Matt Bowman. Diaz extending his on-base streak. He has singled, flied to left, and also walked and scored. Fastball taken high. Villanueva will do a little bit of everything when he's on the mound. Sometimes drops down sidearm. He'll float a 60, 65 mile an hour curveball in there, then amp it up to mid to high 80s. Changing speeds. That pitch at 82 miles an hour.
He's 32 years of age. 9+ years of major league experience.
Very bright guy and bilingual. He's been involved heavily in the Players Association. Here's a 1-1 pitch. The current CBA is up after this season, and one of the talks that we've been hearing here the last week or so is that the players would potentially like to see the schedule cut back from 162 to 154. So with that, owners are saying, well, that's lost revenue, and we'd like to keep those games. So you may see some double headers next week. Players would like to see a day off every week. Diaz with a high fly ball out to left. This ball is down all the way to the wall. Adams will score. Diaz racing to third with a triple.
Another multi-hit game, on base 3 times, an RBI, 49 on the season for him, and he just keeps on swinging the bat. And the ball jumps off his bat. Dickerson tries to make a desperate dive for it, comes up short, drives in a run. The Cardinals pad their lead, and now he can run, can he?
Oh,
it's
yeah.
fun to watch him.
His hustle earlier that led to a run. Very important run in this game. It's now 5-1. And that ball scoots away, and Diaz will stay put at third.
Third triple of the season. Mentioned that he's reached base 22 straight games. Those 22 straight games, hitting about 350 too.
He has
home
made
runs.
the adjustments this year with the pitches on the outer half, and then if they try to come in, he'll yank it.
A lot of times, you know, we We'll watch an outfielder and we say he never moves. But you can really say that about Melvin Upton Jr. Plays everybody into right center. All these right-handed batters.
Piscotty up the middle, base hit. Diaz will score, and it's now a 6-1 St. Louis lead. Six runs, and that means any size coffee, fountain, frozen drink tomorrow, just 50 cents at your local On the Run. Use the On the Run app to find your nearest store. On the Run, you earned it. It's 2 runs in this inning that have scored with 2 outs. The Cardinals have opened up a 6-1 lead. Here's Holiday. RBI back in the 5th. Popped up. Cardinal pinch hitters have been outstanding this year. That continues here tonight off the bat of Adams. This double scores 2. And the Cardinals have opened up a 6-1 lead. Six-1 Cardinals, 9-hit attack. Big double off the bench to score 2. And the Cardinals have a 6-1 lead. Archevy called to the bullpen, takes his 2. Matt Bowman. 30 appearances now on the year.
Yeah, and he's got 8 straight scoreless appearances. So Matt Bowman, a Rule 5 pick, has to stay with the ball club, but right now he's not going anywhere. Every day it seems like he gets a more important assignment. More than 62% of the time his pitches will end up in a ground ball.
Schimpf 0 for 2, couple of the strikeouts. Mike Leake 11 strikeouts tonight. The Hyundai pitch arsenal here on Matt Bowman. Fastball, slider, good changeup, a lot of pitches down in the zone, a lot of ground balls.
Good movement on his fastball, the sinking fastball. An idea there.
You know, Mark Grant was asking us about the Cardinals logo, the birds on the bat. How long has it been around? Mark, the analyst of the San Diego Padres. Well, 1921, Ferguson Presbyterian Church, a lady by the name of Allie Mae Schmidt, was asked to decorate tables for a men's fellowship club meeting. Branch Rickey was the speaker. And at that meeting, she looked outside the window. It was in the dead of winter, and there were 2 redbirds on a branch. So she stenciled those, colored the birds, placed them on brown string as they were used for decoration for those that came to the meeting, including Branch Rickey. He loved it, and he took that logo and said, design this a little bit better. Let me see the bird. Let me see the bat. Let's put that instead of a twig. It's a bat. The beak was something that was later added in with the color of yellow to match the color of the bat, and hence you have in 1922 the birds on the bat, which has been redesigned multiple times, and recently the bigger bat and a bigger bird designed by Bill DeWitt III. 1998 they completely changed it to go more of the traditional look, and then a few years ago went with the bigger logo and the bigger bird on the bat. That's the story behind that logo of the Cardinals, one of the famous logos in sports.
Yeah, the classiest logo in all of sports.
Pitch taken high.
This is not what you want from Bowman to come in here and not throw strikes. That's something really has not been an issue with him.
So even today, the influence of Branch Rickey, whether it be the minor leagues or the uniform, still felt today. The great history of this franchise. Ramirez at the plate, and he lines it foul. 1 ball and 1 strike. We're in the 7th. 6-1 St. Louis. Bullpen on Friday, 2 2/3, 5 hits. Yesterday, 5 innings, 6 hits. Didn't need the bullpen on Saturday in that great game by Adam Wainwright.
And you hope that Club was going to be able to take off after that emotional win, and all his 2006 teammates in attendance.
There's your ground ball, and it is fair. Greg Garcia, his reaction, he was shocked as a fan tried to corral that in, and Schimpf has to be held up at third. It'll be a double for Ramirez. Ball was touched by a fan, so a dead ball.
Where it goes over the bag, and before the bag it looked like it hit on the chalk line, but we don't know about over the bag. Right here you'll see chalk. I'd have to say it's a better look, and
very, very close.
I think Mike Matheny and the Cardinal dugout had a pretty good look at it from the first base dugout, and they're not questioning it at all.
Here's a ground ball. Infield was playing back. Adams to Bowman. Run does score. Ramirez advancing to third. It's now 6-2. I'm going to put you on the spot, Matt Ungarian.
I'm ready.
Play GM here for a moment. If you were to evaluate this team, look at its strengths and weaknesses, trade deadline a couple of weeks away, is there something you do to try to tinker with it, or do you say, look, you're in the wild card race, you may have some call-ups that could help you, stick with that, or do you say, now we got to shuffle the deck a little bit?
I will first say that there's everything that's wrong with the Cardinals is correctable. I'd like to think it's correctable with the current players because they haven't played to their true capabilities, but I think you got to tweak the bullpen a little bit. And I can understand why John Mozeliak is resisting the Alex Reyes. Not yet.
Most of that has to do with just trying to get innings.
Yeah, and you know, because of his suspension, he's throwing about 50 innings, not
roughly,
much more.
Yeah.
And if he's got a possibility of him being a starter next year for you, you got to build his innings up.
Upton, a swing and a miss and a strikeout. Plaza Tires, Fox Tracks. Missed this by a foot.
Really did, and that kind of reverted back to what we saw the last couple years when he was with Atlanta. But
now Will Myers. So runner at third and 2 outs. Myers has had a tough night with 3 strikeouts. Collectively, the Padres lineup has struck out 12 times. 11 of those thanks to Mike Leake.
I'm playing the GM a little bit more, and I either have got pitch Manus and see what I've got, or I've got to deal him. He's been so important to this ball club the last couple of years, and you know, yesterday he pitched first time in 2 weeks. Not doing you any good if you're not going to use him. And Matt Bowman has kind of been the guy that come in and, you know, with guys on base in the middle of an inning and try to get through that, where Seth Manus was brilliant for 3 years.
2 strikes on Myers.
I think there's times where Tyler Lyons, who's warming up now, you know, you got to utilize him a little bit more. There's Manus too. So good for Seth. Went out there through strikes yesterday, had a real efficient inning, and now all of a sudden we're going to see maybe him in these important outings again.
Misses in. 2 balls, 2 strikes. And a strikeout on the inside corner. Back-to-back strikeouts for Bowman. Does allow a run, but he gets Will Myers, and Myers has struck out 4 times tonight. Time to stretch. 6-2. The right-hander finishing up his warm-up tosses here for the bottom of the 7th. Out of the pen for San Diego. Just his 5th appearance this year. 3 1/3. Couple of hits, struck out 2, 1 walk allowed. 6-2 Cardinals. This is our Gateway Honda home run inning. Cardinals hit a home run. The Gateway Honda dealers donate $1,000 to the Make-A-Wish Foundation. Well, anytime you're mentioned in the company of Bob Gibson, you've had a pretty good run. Mike Leake, Bob Gibson, only pitchers in Cardinals history to have 10 strikeouts, no walks in back-to-back games. Isn't that something?
That's hard to believe, isn't it? For
It
all
is.
the history, like Congratulations, Mike Leake. Let's make sure he gets up the victory and evens his record at 7-7.
I guess when you think about the numbers, the strikeouts, yeah, it's impressive. But
walks.
It's the walks, exactly. Dominguez greeted by a base hit from Yadier Molina.
Dominguez was signed as a minor league free agent. He appeared in 27 games at AAA El Paso this year before being called up, and spent the majority of last season at AAA Durham.
Brings in Grichuk, who is 0 for 3. He's popped out with the bases loaded, struck out and grounded out. Got the start in left field tonight. Strikeouts have been a part of this game. Mike Leake with 11, one shy of his career high. No walks, as we mentioned. Bowman with 2 strikeouts. And Will Myers, one of their big boppers, struck out 4 times. First time he's ever done that in a game. The 0-1. Next time you're looking for great seats, head to StubHub. Homer Road. Download the app, StubHub. 0-2 the count on Grichuk. That fastball hits 100. So this is one of those young guys that we were talking about earlier that they believe could be a factor in their bullpen. That's triple digits.
Like I say, last year his majority was at AAA. There again this year he was at AAA for most of the season. Cardinal Cowboy.
It's your buddy, huh?
Oh yeah.
Cubs have Ronnie Woo Woo, and we've got the Cardinal Cowboy. Crowd tonight of 40,137, and some lucky fans sitting right next to the Cardinal Cowboy.
What a thrill.
45,000 seats, and I got this one. Well, this young man throws hard. I'm not sure he throws as hard as Aroldis Chapman. Measured at 105.1 miles per hour tonight. Tied for the fastest pitch ever recorded by Pitch Effects or StatCast. Aroldis Chapman, who could be on the move.
Could be. Andrew Miller, there you see, 100 miles an hour is high, and 89, which is not that slow, his low point.
Sometimes these guys that throw so hard they throw an off-speed pitch, it speeds up the bat of the hitter.
Yeah, doing him a favor.
That's launched. Deep left center field. Has a chance. Gone! Home run, Grichuk, number 12. 2-run shot. And the Cardinals add to their lead. Are you all right, sir? You all right? A line shot off the bat of Randal Grichuk. And a sore hand for that fan in left center.
Such a high ceiling for Randal Grichuk. I was kind of anxious to see how he would do this at bat, because basically you're talking about a AAA pitcher who has great high potential against a major leaguer that we all know has a high ceiling, but still trying to find his footing here at the major league level. Well, that gave you an idea of that high ceiling right there. 102 miles an hour, leaving the bat of Randal Grichuk on his home run.
Here's Jed Jerko. He's had a big night. Adds to it. Left field. This ball is gone! Just over the wall. Back-to-back home runs. Jerko on base for the 4th time. 3 for 3. A walk. And now a homer against his former team.
Dan, this is our Hyundai dealers are They're loving these home runs in the 7th inning.
Randall Grichuk, Jed Jerko, $2,000 for the Make-A-Wish Foundation of Missouri, thanks to the Gateway Honda dealers.
Don't stop there.
It's now a 9-2 St. Louis lead. Here is Garcia. With Jerko's home run, gets out in a hurry, just clears the wall and left. It's more of your line drive variety. 103 off the bat of Jed Jerko.
I would say this kid throws hard and it's straight. Just a reminder that these guys are great, and no matter how hard you throw, eventually they'll time it. And if it doesn't move, that velocity will supply some of the distance for you. Brandon Moss saying, hey, I can do that too. I'm the leader of the team pack with my 17 home runs.
The home run by Grichuk extends the Cardinals streak to 9 consecutive games with a homer. That's the longest since 2009.
Drop that head, quick little stroke, and ball just jumps off his back. Think Jerko's going to be in the lineup tomorrow?
I would think so. 2-2 the count on Garcia. Nobody out here in the bottom of the 7th. On the outside corner. This may be the time that you get Trevor Rosenthal up. I mean, if he's not going to be sent down, you're trying to find the right time to get him into a game, get him straightened out. You're up by 7 runs. This may be the time to do it.
Seth Maness is throwing. They did have Segrist up, but I agree with you. And you both talked to Tom Henke for a little bit today. Tom Henke told me that he had told Mike Matheny, you want me to talk to Rosenthal. He goes, I lost my job. I think he said it was 89 or 98. You know, he's up in Toronto and he was the closer and he lost it. He goes, I can tell you how to get back there.
6th time this season the Cardinals have had back-to-back homers. Grichuk's measured at 411 feet. Jerko at 386. Tom Henke, by the way, finished up with the Cardinals 1996.
Could still pitch.
He still could pitch. He was an all-star that year from Jefferson City, Missouri.
But he had his family with him and a great family man, and had some issues that need to be attended to, and so he called it quits.
I should say 1995. Cardinals wanted him to come back in 96, and that's when they got Dennis Eckersley. He said that was one of the most special moments of his career, being an all-star for the team he grew up cheering for, the Cardinals. Up and into Adams at 97.
Matt, one inside was fine, but not the second one. Felt like that was a little bit. Now taken deep.
The 2-2. Nobody throwing in the bullpen for San Diego. 3-2 the count on Adams.
We talked about their big 3 relievers. All pitched 3 straight days, so might be taking it for the team.
It's an out of play. 3-2 pitch. Hit up the middle and back to the Padres right-hander who makes the play for the first out. Correct that, the second out. So with 2 outs, brings in Tommy Pham. Anywhere you want to go, you can watch the Cardinals. Fox Sports Go. Download the app. Two outs, nobody on. Had a gentleman tweet at me tonight, said he's on vacation, but he was enjoying some time watching on his phone. Fox Sports Go. Here's the 0-1. Pham lines to second base. Big inning for the Cardinals. They pick up 3. Back-to-back home runs. Randal Grichuk. Right after that, line shot by Jerko over the wall and left. St. Louis leading the San Diego Padres game 1 of this 4-game series. Our Chevy Cole to the pen. Seth Maness enjoyed a 1-2-3 9th inning yesterday against Miami.
Missed 32 games when he had the inflammation of his elbow. Tied for first in the National League with 41 double plays since coming up to the big leagues. Was really the go-to guy where you had left runners on base. He'd come in and throw a double play ball, and big part of the Cardinals' success.
Here's Matt Kemp. He'll lead it off. We're in the top of the 8th. First pitch, a strike. Matt Kemp with a home run, a solo shot back in the 4th. Cardinals fell behind at that point, 1-0. But tremendous starting pitching from Mike Leake. Once again, Cardinals got 2 runs in the 5th, 4 in the 6th. Tacked on 3 more in the bottom of the 7th. Adds up to a 9-2 lead. There's your ground ball that's hit to Jerko. MLS Soccer this Sunday, sponsored by Audi, returns this week. Red hot rivalry. Don't miss David Villa and New York City FC battle their crosstown rivals, the New York Red Bulls, at 11:30 on Fox. Watch it live on Fox Sports Go.
And Seth Maness could really gain favor with Mike Matheny and, you know, really solve a lot of problems. Last 3 years, you know, he's getting those double play balls. You know, he's had some bad springs, but when he gets that sinker moving and working down, you know, he's just a ground ball machine. Just another one of them.
On the 1-1 pitch, it's popped up off the bat of Solarte. Aledmys Diaz, 2 down.
Sinkers, change-ups.
Brings in Dickerson with 2 outs and nobody on. You know, Rosenthal has had his issues, and when your closer has issues, everything kind of feeds off of that in terms of roles. Who goes where, and that's kind of disrupted the rest of the bullpen.
Yeah, unfortunately, guys change roles and nobody jumps a hold of it and kind of settles it down. But I would think perfect time to put Rosenthal in the 9th inning of this ball game. It's that one more out here.
2-0 the count on Alex Dickerson. Ground ball. Adams to Maness in a 1-2-3, top of the 8th. 9-2 St. Louis. Runs tonight are Nissan drives of the game. Last inning, bottom half, back-to-back. Randall Grichuk, 2-run shot. Right after that, Jed Jerko, 6th time the Cardinals have gone back-to-back this year. The Nissan drives of the game. And Al's going to tell you about the new lefty that's in.
Matt Thornton come in here. He's activated from the 15-day disabled list on May 28th. Worked a scoreless inning in his Padres debut. Signed with the Padres as a minor league free agent. See his 13 appearances. Veteran of 12 major league seasons. Mariners, White Sox, Red Sox, Yankees, Nationals.
And a fly ball lifted into right. New right fielder is Jankowski, and he makes the catch. We have a big Cardinal fan watching tonight, celebrating her 103rd birthday. Never misses a game. Happy birthday to Angela Reams. Went to her first game at the old Sportsman's Park at the age of 14. So happy birthday, 103 years old. That's Angela Reams.
That's great, isn't it?
Yep. Here's Piscotty. RBI single back in the 6th. 2 hits tonight, 2 for 4.
Yeah, it must have been about 85 or 87. Right, I was doing some stuff at KMOX, and I got a phone call from Norma Filankowski. She was 84 years young at that time, and she had a World Series program for 1926, the first year the Cardinals won, and she wanted to get the current players to sign it. I said, "Oh no," you know. I said, and I invited her out, and I had her come, and I sat with a game with her, and we got a new scorecard, had all the players sign it and everything. But I sat there and talked to her about, you know, the Gas House Gang. Talked to her about, you know, Jim Bottomley. Gentleman Jim was her favorite. And she was saying, "Oh yeah, he was quite the ladies' man."
Oh, really?
Oh, it was just a fun conversation. You know, I know she's passed on, but I cherish that. Norma Filankowski. I remembered the name too.
1-2 is hit the other way, and a fair ball. No, foul ball off the bat of Piscotty.
Larry Vanover trying to backpedal and got turned around a little bit, but probably got the right call.
It's a 1-run game. It's probably an argument of some sort.
Sure, you had nothing to lose.
Right.
Fair and on the line right in front of the bag, but Larry says it's foul. I wish he would, you know, show us why it was fair or foul.
The emphatic call.
Emphatic call. Quite like Jim Joyce with balls and strikes, right?
You can hear that up here. 1926, the first World Series for the Cardinals. And the ownership at that time was Sam Brayton. He'll be inducted into the Cardinals Hall of Fame this year. He finished up in 1947. He actually bought stock options in the team in 1917 for $200 a share. 1917.
That's probably big money at that time.
Right. Sam Brayton bought 4 shares and eventually got controlling interest. And there he is, the Cardinals Hall of Fame class of 2016. His nickname was Singin' Sam. He would go into a barbershop every day where they held court, and if they won the night before, he'd be singing going into that barbershop. Always singing
that
after wins. Wow. Long one off the bat of Piscotty. Big Mac land. Oh! Second time he's gone into Big Mac land this year. The Cardinals have put up a 10 spot. It's now 10-2.
I don't think he's disappointed that that ball down the first base line was called foul. Now that blast, his 3rd hit of the day, 13th home run, 2nd RBI of the night. This is what this team is capable of. And what I love about this team is their ability to score late. Can turn around a deficit.
They have the most home runs in the 7th inning or later, and they've hit 3 7th inning or later tonight.
Boy, even as good as the teams have been in recent years, we didn't see that. You know, it's always early in the game, and then they just try to hold on.
This is Alberto Rosario, the backup catcher.
11 years in the minor leagues. He's hitting .281 at Memphis this year. Very good catch and throw man. Had his first 2 hits, first 2 major league at bats, both in Milwaukee.
Saw his defense with a lot of pitches yesterday in a hot afternoon in the dirt. Michael Wacha, as we mentioned earlier, kind of struggled through the 4 innings that he pitched in, and he's throwing that changeup with that downward action and a lot of pitches in the dirt blocked.
In the 5th inning, where he never recorded an out, he threw 7 in the dirt. And 6 of the 7 were blocked by Rosario.
Piscotty's home run, the distance 439 feet.
He's a player.
The 2-2. Ground ball, left side. Gloved and out. It's the second home run he has hit into Big Mac land this year. He just teed off.
Yeah, no wasted motion at all. Wasn't it just nice, easy swing? You're almost saying, okay, put the ball in a tee and I'm going to hit it. He'd have that same type of sweet swing, extension.
Colton Wong will hit for Yadier Molina. Rosario will stay in the game behind the plate. Rosenthal getting loose in the Cardinals' pen. 2 outs, nobody on. And a strike. A little broken bat and a foul ball. This is the 14th game the Cardinals have had 3 or more home runs. Here in 2016, they did that the entire season of last year, 8 total times, and 14. And after tonight, 70 games still to go.
Remember a push.
Great way to check out baseball. #1 live streaming sports service. That's MLB.tv for details. A little bit low. Our Fox Tracks presented by Plaza Tire Service. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Wong, a swing and a miss. We head to the 9th. Stephen Piscotty, the 3rd of 3 Cardinal home runs hit tonight. This one in Big Mac land. A 10 spot put up by St. Louis. 10-2. It's been a tough year for Trevor Rosenthal. Tough outing on Saturday against Friday night against Miami. 38th appearance, the high ERA. And even though it is an 8-run lead, it's a game like this that's pretty important for Trevor Rosenthal.
It really is. Now you got a great opportunity. Go out there with the right attitude. You thank your manager for putting you in a situation where you can get things squared away. See Colton Wong stays in the ball game. He's out in right field. And the big question here is, can Trevor come in and just throw strikes? Just relax and throw strikes. Obviously, there's nothing physically wrong with him throwing 98 plus, and so it's concentration. And Dan, I think most fans would be shocked to realize over the course of a year or the course of guys' careers how many times they lose confidence. I mean, it happens, you know, and you lose confidence, then you find a way to build it back.
0-2 pitch, struck him out. Our Budweiser player of the game is Cardinals starter Mike Leake. 6 innings tonight. No walks, 11 strikeouts, 1 off his career high. Could have gone even to maybe a Rando Grichuk. Now 3 home runs the past 5 games. That's his 4th since coming back from Memphis on the 5th of July. Pumping strikes.
That's what it's all about. And I think you just don't get silly. You know, just throw all fastballs.
The 0-1. Make it 0-2.
Rosario, you can just see these pitchers. And I think this is the first time that Rosenthal may be throwing to him, that they have a lot of confidence in him back behind the plate.
The next 2, Ryan Schimpf.
I don't think he swung. I thought the pitch was there.
Here's a 1-2. Pitch at 99 from Trevor. As you mentioned, no physical ailments when you're throwing this hard.
No.
And it's been this hard every time out, even when he's getting knocked around.
Such a good guy and means so much to the ball club. You know, all of his teammates are pulling for him.
2-2.
Now rein him in. Back there, take a minute. Don't rush out there. Just kind of take a deep breath.
He struck out the first 2. May have chased a ball.
Well, that's part of it, though, too. If you're throwing strikes, you're going to get guys to widen their zones and swing at pitches that are out of the strike zone.
AT&T high-speed replays. We take you back to the 4th inning for the Cardinals. Jed Jerko, Diaz, Steven Piscotty. The AT&T high-speed replays. Alexi Ramirez, the final home for San Diego. 2 outs. Strike 1.
You see that ball's in the catcher's glove before Ramirez even reacted to it. I'm telling you, there's some Padres are going, he's struggling?
Right.
Rosenthal's struggling? Sure.
Ooh, that was nasty. First breaking ball of the inning.
Yeah, and first breaking ball, and it's a good one. Nasty one down. Look at the spin, the tight spin, good movement down. Let's go home, Trevor.
The 0-2.
Stay within yourself. You know, that's strike out 2, and you know that the only way you're going to feel comfortable is if you strike out the 3rd one. Put a little punctuation mark on it.
The 1-2 pitch. A fly ball into right, and the Cardinals win game 1 of this 4-game series. Wong with the catch. The final of 10-2, and a 1-2-3 inning for Trevor Rosenthal here in the ninth.
And that may be the most important thing. Great ball game. Leake was outstanding. We had some great timely hitting, the 3 bombs. Adams had the big pinch hit. And all of a sudden you get the bullpen does their job, and maybe most importantly is you had a very successful outing for Trevor Rosenthal.
On to the postgame show. Big night for the Cardinals offense. 13 hits, 3 home runs. They went back-to-back. Rosenthal perfect in the ninth, and Leake picks up the win behind 11 strikeouts. 10-2 the final. Scott Warman, Rick Horton standing by with the postgame show on Fox Sports Midwest.